Hi guys, so today we're talking about transition phase and a really important part of a sprinting race, really to run as fast as you can, and using transition phase really will accelerate you and get you faster. But I wanted to talk about just at the weekend the European indoors, the 60 meters, where Ceccarelli won, the Italian athlete won and beat Jacobs. And what I believe that he won it because he used the transition phase to his advantage. And it was actually technically a great run. But I want to talk about that. But first of all, I want to make sure you subscribe to my channel so you get more videos from me like this, because I'm giving away information and tips that are actually not given away in many other channels. So this really is important for you to achieve your potential as an athlete. But transition phase. What is a transition phase? Well, that's the distance or time between you just exited the blocks and you're upright into your top speed running. So when I mean you're upright, you're basically perpendicular to the ground and you're into top speed running. That distance to get up to that top speed running is the transition phase. And to utilize it properly it's a skill, and it takes a number of things that you have to consider to get it right. So I'm going to give away about 3 things, and the final one is one that's really important to get. But let's talk about the 3 things that makes the transition phase and what Ceccarelli did well. So I'd recommend you go and actually look at that race. I'll put a link below in the description of where to find it, that race. But it's basically a brilliant kind of example of how to use the transition phase, and it's in the 60 meters as well. So what makes a good transition phase? Well, it's one that actually gets you up to top speed as quick, but is not one that actually gets you standing up as quick, because the main idea of a transition phase is to exit the blocks in a 45-degree angle, but not to stand up too quickly. A transition phase should be able to capitalize on the power of the blocks to drive you forwards until you gradually come upwards into an upright position where you're at top speed. If you stand up too early in the transition phase, i.e. you come out of the blocks and then you stand up too quickly, which is a mistake that a lot of athletes do, you cripple your race. You don't get the drive out of the blocks, you don't get up to top speed quickly, and the body has to try harder and harder to do it, and you don't want that. That kind of angle out of the blocks is to get you forward momentum, to drive behind you with your legs, to gain traction with each stride. And as you gain traction with each stride, you start to speed up the cadence of the feet. And then when you speed up the cadence, then you start to gradually come up into upright position. Ceccarelli did this brilliantly. And in the 60 meters, he wasn't the one that come up the quickest. A lot of athletes did that, but he was the one who actually came up into his top speed, upright position the slowest. And that's what I think he utilized and why he won the race, is because he was actually the slowest up into his upright position, and he capitalized on the drive of the blocks behind him. Now, how do you do this? Well, for me, there's a number of factors. Okay, I'm not saying these are the only factors, but 3 main ones. Number 1 is your block settings out of the blocks. The blocks should be calibrated so you can get drive forward to your best of your ability, and it's individual to you. So the measurements in your blocks should actually be optimal so you can get that drive forwards and actually get the proper foundation to get that proper transition phase. Number 2 is your strength factor. Do you strength train? Strength has a lot to do with you actually coming out the blocks as well, and how you drive behind you and capitalize on each stride, because in that transition phase, it's not the cadence that's doing it, it's the how much you're capitalizing and the kind of purchase you're getting on the ground on each stride to propel you forward. And that takes a lot of strength and power. So are you in the strength room? Are you squatting? Are you Olympic lifting? These things really help you, as well as the single leg work. I'll have you know as well, the single leg work. But basically getting in the gym will help you get more power so you can drive that way. And the third and final thing is what you need to really come down, and this for me is the most important thing, is relaxation. Now, you knew that was coming anyway, consider this channel anyway, and this is just another example of why relaxation is important, because what relaxation gives you is patience. And that's what Ceccarelli had. He had patience, and patience is there when you have faith that you don't have to stand up too quickly out of the blocks. You can gradually allow the transition phase to kind of happen in its natural way. And that's what he did. He wasn't impatient. He had faith that his transition phase was going to drive him forward, and he wasn't too eager to stand up. See, when you put athletes stand up too quickly, and you saw the pro athletes, really highly trained athletes, doing this over the weekend. A lot of athletes stood up too quickly, and it comes from a state of fear. It comes from a state, I have to get into my running, otherwise I'm going to be left behind. If I come up too slowly, and I don't start getting to my running, then I'm going to lose the race. And this becomes a state of fear when, no, you actually have to use what Ceccarelli did, use the gradual transition phase. And he was, as I say, he was the slowest up into, I believe, up into his upright position. Slowest up into his upright top speed position. And he had faith. The other athletes who stood up came from a state of anxiety, tightness and panic. And when you're tight, you will do those things. You'll handicap your power out the blocks, but you'll actually be too eager to get into your running and top speed. So you'll stand up too quickly and you decelerate. It takes longer for you to get up into your top speed. And you'll be left behind. You lose all the momentum out of the blocks when you stand up too quickly. And what you need is that relaxation before the race even starts, before the couple of minutes before you get in the blocks. You have to utilize your breathing, get into your belly breathing, get into the now, feel your body, say what to your nerves, just observe your nerves and just don't get drawn in them, get energized by your nerves because it's there to help you. Be glad that they're there and get yourself stand up straight in the blocks just before you get in the blocks. And then when you call to your marks, you're getting yourself in the proper state to have that patience to use the transition phase. You must have patience for the transition phase. So hopefully those three things actually will help you. Get your block settings right, get strength training and get relaxed. These three things will help you use that transition phase and capitalize and drive yourself forward. And once you're actually not too eager to stand up, once you actually have faith in your transition phase, faith in your ability to run fast, faith in your ability to do what you need to do, then you'll use the transition phase to your advantage and get quicker. So if that video was helpful for you, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.